Are we on?
Yes, Leonard.
Am I on?
We are.
Are you on? Okay, we're on. I'm a little off. Good morning to everybody in the chat room. You're listening to The Lady and the Legend, formerly on Sirius Radio, but they don't want us anymore.
Didn't I ban that word from this house?
Yes, you banned it. It's not so serious. All right? But and now you can listen to it free. Absolutely free, no charge, no extra charge, no nothing. And good morning to Boston Ball. Good morning to Chris Gallo, to Daniel Ferrara, to Rotorius, Tommy Johnson, and even Guest Madonna has been here for quite a long time. Identify yourself, please. If you could register, we'll get to see what your name is, and that could make a big time difference, okay? You got that? So let's get it on, okay? Let's get it on. Now, we'll start with the beginning. How about that, Andrea? How are you doing?
I know. I haven't seen you in a long time.
We've been up. Forget about it. Okay. Some interesting things going on in Major League Baseball. We'll talk about some exciting play. A lot of players today. We'll talk about a lot of exciting players in Major League Baseball that translates into fantasy baseball. But we've talked about the changes in the ballparks in Detroit, and we've talked about the changes in the ballparks in Baltimore and how it's affected Baltimore and how it's going to affect Detroit.
Well, we can only make a guess, but if the changes in Detroit affect the same way they did in Baltimore, you can expect a lot more home runs coming out of Detroit.
Yep. So we're concentrating on...
But Toronto, I'm just trying to refresh so I get the... Yeah. How's the sound? There it is.
Oh, good. Okay, we got the sound.
Yeah, Leonard. The same way they did in Baltimore. Okay.
And you were saying about Toronto.
So Toronto is going to make some changes, but it's mostly for the fans. The manager said that they're going to make some changes so that the fans have a better view. You know, there's a hotel there. And
yes,
you can actually get a room, and
Rogers
you can
Center.
Sit in your room. That would be just a dream come true for me.
I've always wanted to go to a hotel with you.
Oh, God.
Any hotel, actually, all right?
How many have we been to?
Even a Holiday Out would be good, okay? But, no...
Anyway, they say that the neutral park is going to most likely remain neutral, except for the right field wall is going to be brought in and lowered, I think. It's going to... The hitters that are going to benefit from the Toronto Blue Jays ballpark renovations are likely to be lefties. Power-hitting lefties.
Right. So here's the thing. It's when the walls come in, the heights of the walls will go up to offset any significant changes, right?
Yeah, so it's been known as a neutral park anyway, and it's probably going to stay that way.
Okay.
But you may see some improved power from lefties.
From lefties, and that's because the right field wall... which is going, but it's going. It was 10 feet high. Now it's going to be 12 feet 7 inches, and no change. So why do they say right center?
The right center field alley is coming in quite significantly. It can be expected to help provide power to lefty hitters like Dalton Varsho or Brandon Belt.
Yeah, it was 375 in right center. It's going to change to 359. But the wall it was 10 feet, now it's going to be about 14 feet 4 inches.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So that's the big change. So there are other changes, but the home ballpark dimensions graded out almost exactly neutral, really not helping pitchers or hitters. Now, we know in Baltimore it helped the pitchers, and in Detroit it's going to help the hitters. But in Toronto...
hello, Eddie.
Who's that? Eddie.
Happy
Mitchell. Birthday
hello,
to
Mitchell.
Eddie
Daniel Ferrara is here.
We'll get to everybody in a minute. Rogers Center was the 17th most offensive-friendly environment.
All right, we're going to spend too much time on this Toronto nonsense.
Relax. It's
going to be neutral, just like it was before, except for lefty power hitters will get a little bit of love.
Right.
Now let's move on to what we came here for today.
Ooh.
Which is going to start with the Baltimore Orioles. We're going to talk about one player from each team that we
Yeah.
think is an exciting player to watch this spring.
Right. Somebody to watch.
Somebody
right.
to watch, and some maybe unknowns. Not the best player on the team, but somebody like, for instance, we'll start with the Baltimore Orioles, Grayson Rodriguez. Now, Daniel put up in the chat room just a couple days ago the list of the Baltimore Orioles prospects in the top 100. I think there's 6 of them or 7.
Okay.
I mean, this team is so exciting. For these Orioles fans who have waited forever for their team to beat the Red Sox, which shouldn't be a problem this year. Anyway, we're going to talk about Grayson Rodriguez.
Yeah, he could be the future ace of the rotation. He will likely, emphasis on the word likely. Keep your eye on him, and it's predicted that someday he could win a Cy Young award.
Oh,
but
forget it!
he
I
could
can't
be the,
stand it.
How
when
do
these,
you predict Cy Young awards? Right?
These writers are ridiculously full of themselves. Okay.
Did you say hello to Mitchell?
Hello, Mitchell.
Okay.
All right. Grayson Rodriguez made it all the way up to AAA, pitched 69 2/3 innings, 2.20 ERA, and a .94 WHIP. This guy has been excellent in the minors. Of course, we want to see him come up and do the same thing in the majors. As far as his spot on the roster, like I said, he made it to AAA, pitched 69 innings there. There is a chance that he breaks spring training with the team in the rotation. He's currently listed as the number 6 starter in Baltimore. Tyler Wells is out, though. So if Tyler Wells does not come back, look at their rotation. This is a guy to watch in spring. I know he's going to go way too expensive at drafts for me because everybody loves an exciting prospect, and he is definitely the definition of an exciting prospect. They also have Adley Rutschman and Gunnar Henderson. Those are going to be some great players to watch. I really think this team needs to add another veteran pitcher starter.
Oh, yeah. They're close to
Can you imagine?
They're close to being competitive, but with the Yankees and Tampa.
They got Kyle Gibson running their rotation right now.
I don't know. It's just not.
They need Bauer.
Just not good. So let me ask you a question. Trevor Bauer to Baltimore?
He would be excellent. I know you guys don't like him personally. That's fine.
I know where Trevor Bauer's going, and I'll tell you that in just a little while.
But think of it this way. Everywhere he's gone, he has influenced and helped create excellent young pitchers. Shane Bieber was one. I know now you got problems with Clevenger, but he was excellent when he pitched with Bauer. He's a good veteran presence who has an excellent work ethic, whether you like him or not personally, I get it. But you can't take away the value of what he brings to a rotation, and especially with young kids, because he loves to help young pitchers learn how to pitch better. So we'll see what happens there.
What are you spending on Grayson Rodriguez?
I'm not going to be in the running, but I am going to be very excited. I hope we could go to see Eddie and the Orioles this year again.
And I hope that Rodriguez is
pitching.
Is going to pitch. But let's say I'm going to go $1 on Grayson Rodriguez. And $1. Anybody going $2?
Okay, he says it's 8. Not 6, not 7. Is that where you think he is in the depth chart? I'd like to know who you put in front of him. According to RotoWire, we have Kyle Gibson, Cole Irvin, Kyle Bradish, Dean Kremer, Tyler Wells, Grayson Rodriguez, Austin Voth, Mike Bowman, Spencer Watkins, 9. Obviously this is not set in stone in any way.
Right.
But it seems like Eddie's pretty certain that it's 8.
Look, Eddie, look, nobody knows right now, but there was a question in the chat room about another Oriole, Anthony Santander. He was a concern heading into the season because of the sharp increase in his strikeout rate in 2021. He missed nearly 50 games. The additional curveball of the changes to Camden Yards.
A lot of people said he wasn't going to hit hardly any homers because of the changes. And again, the changes in Camden crazily decreased the home runs, but Anthony Santander, he totally obliterated everybody's expectations with 33 home runs last year, and I would say he's going to hit another 25, 27.
But he's now hit just below league average 2 consecutive seasons. He hit 240 last year, but I think he'll hit about the same, maybe 245, 240. What?
Sorry, Leonard. I burped on you.
Oh, you burped on me?
I do that.
So anyway, if you're targeting for homers and RBIs, waiting for the batting average to rebound, he could be a 35 home run threat.
All right, how much are you guys paying for Grayson Rodriguez?
Grayson
Moving on.
Rodriguez, how much are we paying for him? I'm going to go up to $4 on Grayson Rodriguez.
I think people are going to pay in the teens for him.
You think so?
Yes, I do, because you know they love and overrate prospects. I wish the best for him. I hope that he does well. I'll be very pleased if he does, but he's going to do it on someone else's team.
And without a doubt, he's a spring training phenomenon. All right?
Another guy.
Now let's go
But I
to
won't be drafting.
Will you be drafting the Japanese batting champion, Masataka Yoshida? He's likely to join MLB. The Red Sox are just...
He's likely. He's definitely joining.
He'll definitely. But the Red Sox fans are not sure.
He's 29 years old, and he averaged 22 homers across the last 5 years. So he averaged 22 homers a year in Japan. Can he do that in the majors? That's the question that we have to ask. But
wait a second. This just in.
Eddie says 15.
Eddie Heckman goes $15 on his Baltimore Orioles.
Because he's a homer, dude.
$15. You can't be a homer on a pitcher that you want, on Grayson Rodriguez.
Don't be a homer, Eddie.
Wow. Let's remember that. The great Eddie Heckman. $15 on Grayson Rodriguez.
See, there's always someone that's going to do that because he's an exciting prospect.
I'm the one who knows after finding you that there's always someone. Okay, go ahead.
Masataka Yoshida did hit, like I said, he averaged 22 home runs each year across the last 5 seasons, and his contract does guarantee him playing time. He can play left field. He actually is slotted in as the starting left fielder, but he can also play right field too if he needs to. However, they project him 282, 15 home runs, 71 RBIs, and 3 stolen bases. He has great contact. He can get on base. We know that. If the question is, how's he going to translate over into the United States, into MLB? He's 29 years old, so he's not a youngster.
Yeah, but he walks a lot.
He does. Right? He gets on base a lot.
That's
and you
right.
can expect that. But in fantasy, is that really what you're looking for?
Well, it's on-base percentage. Okay?
All right, fine.
On-base percentage. He's an on-base machine.
We don't know how many home runs he'll hit.
That's in Japan. But
absolutely.
Look.
So he's going to play every day.
He's going to play every day.
Moving on.
And Yoshida probably is a 6 to 7. Again, all of these players, let me just...
Someone to watch, right?
Re-idiot. The re-idiot's going to reiterate, okay, by saying...
Hello, Laura.
Laura DiChiara is here from the great state of some bridge. What bridge is she with? Anyway...
The state of Bridge?
She lives near a bridge. Anyway, thank you, Laura, for being here. Thanks for James Caplion to be here. Chat room's starting to fill up. Mitchell is here. Get your brother Merrill. And we're cool. Guess Madonna, who are you?
Okay.
All right. Anyway.
Carlos Rodon.
Wait a second. I'm finishing up with the Red Sox.
You're taking too long on each player.
We got weeks to talk about. Carlos Rodon. He's the pick of the Yankees. Not just because he's interesting to see him without. It's because you're gonna see him without a beard.
I could care less if you have a beard or not.
Oh, really?
Here's the thing about Rodon. You know, I was a big fan I was a big fan when he went to San Francisco because the San Francisco pitching coach has done wonders. He also had an excellent season going into last year when he was acquired by San Francisco. But the difference between the Yankees Stadium and San Francisco ballpark is light years. The pitching has the advantage in San Francisco. It does not have the advantage at Yankee Stadium. So I do wonder a little bit why the projections on Carlos Rodon don't really project him any different than what he did in San Francisco. Last year he had a 2.88 ERA. He was really good last year. They project him to have a 2.82 ERA with a 101 whip. He's going to strike out batters. You know that for sure. This guy's a strikeout machine. But I don't know why projections don't take into consideration the American League East and the Yankee Stadium and where he's going to be pitching the most, which is American League East.
Okay. Now, the top candidates to win the American League Cy Young Award, Jake DeGrom, Garrett Cole.
According to who?
This is according to Cy Young himself, okay? Jake DeGrom.
He's the best pitcher, hands down, if he's healthy.
Right, well...
Garrett Cole, though? Please.
Garrett Cole. Now, who are you going to take between Alek Manoah, Dylan Cease, and Carlos Rodon. Who you
I
taking?
might take Manoah.
You might take Manoah.
He's a lefty,
Manoah
right?
is 8-1.
I like
Cease
him.
is 9-1, and Carlos Rodon is 10-1, along with Shane Bieber. Okay.
Shane Bieber.
Now Otani is 12-1. By the way, okay.
Okay.
Oh, this is from the Vegas Insider. Okay.
So this is based on what people are betting, not based on like.
Well. pretty
Anyway,
much.
we know for sure. What about the National League? We got Sandy Alcantara.
Yeah,
Clearly.
Alcantara.
Verlander
no
now.
surprises. No surprise. The only surprise I think would be you got Aaron Nola.
Spencer Strider.
Aaron Nola's at 12-1. You got Spencer Strider. Wow, is he getting a lot of play?
I like Zach Gallen.
He's getting a lot of play. But Rodon is the guy that we're into right now. And
Let me tell you another thing about Rodon.
Please, that's what we're here for.
His ERA was 1.93 at San Francisco at home when he pitched. When he was away pitching, his ERA was 3.73.
Oh, really?
That is interesting.
Well, Boston Paul loves Manoah.
I do too.
Rotoria says Dylan Cease only has 2 pitches and Strider only has 2 pitches.
All right, that's a good tidbit.
So that's
Okay.
pretty good.
Tyler Glasnow, Tampa Bay.
Oh,
now we have him coming
interesting.
back.
Interesting.
And you know he's excellent when he pitches.
Yep.
It's kind of like a Jake DeGrom Jr.
Okay.
He's
by the
got.
way,
I
you're
mean, this guy's got a
listening-
curveball that can
Yes,
blow anybody away,
It's-
and that, along with his fastball, has
When-
made him just untouchable.
Wow.
Here's the thing, though. When they start, I don't know how.
Just don't say blow anyone away, okay? I just don't appreciate that. But go
Scoot
ahead.
over.
All right, go ahead. We're on Tyler Glass now.
Please
right
don't
now.
interrupt me because I lose my train of thought just
You
like
have
you.
a train. Go ahead.
All right. This is the thing. I don't know how strict they're going to be on the sticky stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. But when the sticky stuff, when they started saying, we're going to search you, we're going to do this, and they clamped down on the sticky stuff, Tyler Glasnow admitted that he threw his arm out because he was trying so hard to hold the ball that he stretched out his muscles in his elbow. You know, like if you try to grip a ball so hard because you're afraid it's going to fly out,
Right.
he really used the sticky stuff, and he admitted that the reason that he had to go to Tommy John was because he wasn't allowed to use the sticky stuff anymore. Everybody uses it. They got to have some kind of middle ground here with the sticky stuff. Here's the thing, though. Glasnow has never pitched more than 111 innings in the majors. He pitched, that was in 2018. Now in 2017, between the minors and the majors, he pitched like 150 innings. So he has eclipsed 150 innings, but that hasn't been since 2017. He was only pitched 6 innings last year before he got injured. You just can't rely on this guy for a massive amount of innings.
Right.
Like 2 years ago, I drafted him in Tout Wars for like $10 because I couldn't let him go. You know what? $10, he's worth it. But
Okay.
you can't expect a full set of innings from
Yeah,
this guy,
he's-
even though he's an excellent pitcher when he's out there.
He's a $16 pitcher, in my opinion.
Holy
right now.
moly.
$15, $16.
You're spending a lot of money today, Leonard.
Well, it's easy. Look.
Dalton
but
Varsho.
Wait a second. Shane McClanahan is the new ace of the Tampa team. But here's my Tampa tidbit, okay? I believe, now ever since...
You think Bauer's going to Tampa, don't you?
Ever since Cliff Floyd and Troy Percival were signed by Tampa, the Tampa team puts a lot of emphasis in the clubhouse, which in many opinions would eliminate Trevor Bauer. But they have something else. They're such a smart organization. For the right price and the belief that Bauer is back, at least on the field, I believe that Tampa will sign Trevor Bauer. Okay? That's
All right.
just, I get that from nowhere. I just get that,
Is that from your gut?
Well, it's from my gut, but I am reading a lot in the Tampa Times, and
Seriously?
nobody's saying anything directly, but
That's
indirectly,
because they hate him.
I get that. Well, a lot of teams do.
No,
but
a lot of writers do.
the Rays fans should be ecstatic to have Glasnow back, and maybe now if they get Trevor Bauer, even though he's such a big question mark, does that make Tampa the favorite in the American League West?
East.
I mean East. Yeah.
Listen, Trevor Bauer is a PR nightmare, okay? We all know this.
But could
But-
Tampa be the team to put up with him?
No team is going to get him unless they think they can win with him. And with the Red Sox so bad going into this season, the only real competition they have, I mean, this is going to, I think Bauer's going to end up in the American League East.
Well,
with Baltimore or
be
Tampa.
Okay.
And they're going to get him for an excellent price. And if they don't like him, they could just let him go.
But look what they got. They got McClanahan, Cy Young Award.
I know they
Drew
do.
Rasmussen, who's liked in the chat room.
Glass now.
You got
and
Glass
Eflin
now.
is not a bad pitcher.
and
For number 4.
Jeffrey Springs, former
lefty.
middle reliever, lefty. Shane Botts with the Tommy John. That hurt.
Okay.
That hurt a lot.
So I think that if either one of these teams gets Bauer, it's going to increase their playoff chances immensely.
And I think, and you could etch this in your kitchen table.
Should I etch it alongside of what you said about what's the dude that you like in the Chicago White Sox that hits just horrible, doesn't steal bases, but you think he's going to?
Oh, you mean Eloy?
No.
Well, that's the guy.
Third baseman.
Oh, I don't know who you're talking about. Anyway, Dalton Varsho, your guy. You picked him early last year before.
No,
the
like
season
3 years
started.
ago.
3 years
I
ago.
picked him to be the Rookie of the Year.
Dalton Varsho.
Isn't it great though that he's actually doing something wonderful?
Hey, look, they gave up Gabriel Marino and one of
they
their
did.
more versatile players, Lourdes Gurriel, who's no longer signed by anybody. Okay.
Yep.
But they got Dalton Varsho back.
Right. Dalton Varsho is an excellent defensive player. He's definitely going to get in the lineup. But for fantasy, he's not hopeless either. He hit 27 home runs last year.
And the Toronto.
He doesn't walk, so
Yep.
don't get him in OBP leagues. He's not a walk guy. But, you know, what's interesting about Varsho, the reason that I picked him to be the Rookie of the Year is because according to his prospect numbers, he actually was able to steal some bases. He stole 16 bases last year. He got caught 6 times.
Well,
so that's not a good
not a
success rate. But his sprint speed is above average, way above average.
Right.
His sprint speed is great. So what's he going to do? He's going to play an excellent defense, and he's also going to hit 25 homers. I think he might be a little bit overrated as far as...
Well, he's an up-and-coming player. But here's the problem with Varsho.
He plays catcher, so that's
Because he's
huge.
eligible at catcher, his dollar amount is going to go up, and he's probably close to a $15 or $16 player. That's no bargain. Okay? Not a bargain.
Well, you look at his numbers compared to other top catchers. Like, compare him to JT Realmuto.
That's why he's going so much. If he was only an outfielder, he wouldn't be going for that kind of money.
That's right. He still does qualify at catcher, and he will be playing in the outfield, correct?
Yes. I just remembered the White Sox guy.
Moncada.
Oh, well, yeah,
That's
but
who it is.
Louis Robert, not Louis Robert, Louis Robert is the guy. And with so many injuries I'm going with the White Sox again this year.
I don't know.
White Sox in the Central Division. That's my team, right, Laura? White Sox, okay.
You were comparing Luis Robert to somebody else.
I don't know.
Listen to this quote by the media vultures. Tony La Russa is no longer the head coach of the White Sox, which is it's better for the clubhouse culture. That's just ridiculous. He wasn't a bad for the clubhouse. They just have to get their... How do they got to get their
You don't
digs
know
in?
what goes on in the clubhouse. When was the last... Well, you were in the Cleveland Indian clubhouse, right?
Look, I don't like the way that they bash people for no apparent reason. They just have to get their digs in. Why don't... Look, I just want to know... Look, if Tony La Russa is no longer their head coach, that's all you need to say.
Well, they get paid for writing articles that people read. That's the end of that. Now, the White Sox fans, I know you mentioned Moncada, but Luis Robert has a chance to be a superstar. Superstar. That's what
Why
he
do you
could
think
be.
he'll be a superstar?
Well, first of all, he could wind up stealing 40 bases.
Oh,
He could
please.
wind up hitting 30 home runs.
He is only 24 still.
I don't... Okay, fine.
So he can't... He will steal bases. He just doesn't play enough games. Last year he played 98 games. That was the first time in 3 years that he even reached over 68
No,
games.
there's a lot that has to happen. But let's face it. Who's got more of a chance of being a superstar? Luis Robert or George Hushman?
I will say George.
I say George, too. He's already a superstar.
No, I'm just kidding. Luis Robert, I think I might just be bitter because I think I've drafted this guy thinking that he was going to be what he could be. He's like Byron Buxton.
Yeah.
I think he's very comparable to Byron Buxton if you look at his numbers. 284 with 12 home runs and 11 stolen bases last year in 98 games. So if you get him a whole 162 games, this guy absolutely could hit 22, 25 home runs and steal 20, 25 bases.
You're listening to The Lady and the Legend. We're going over players to watch in the American League. We'll try to get to the National League next week. There's a lot you can do. You can't watch every player, but there are some players that are ready to break out, some players that are going to have a good year. Okay?
All right, let's talk about the Cleveland Guardians. Oscar Gonzalez.
Oscar Gonzalez.
The right fielder now.
Yes.
He has great, his music when he walks up.
His walk-up music? What, it's the SpongeBob theme? That's crazy. Yeah, well, listen.
I just love these players and their
Any
music.
way you can make it and call attention to yourself.
It's
that's
great.
The way
And
to
plus
do it.
he did very good in the playoffs,
Okay.
So, the fans don't really know a lot about Oscar Gonzalez. He played 91 games last year, an OPS plus 125, hit 11 home runs, and you know that the Cleveland Ballpark Progressive Field is not that hitter friendly.
Tommy Johnson is here. Good morning, Tommy.
He's been here, Leonard.
Oh, he has? I'm sorry.
According to Baseball Savant, Oscar Gonzalez ranks in the top 2% in arm strength, top 13% in sprint speed, and top 10% in max exit velocity. I don't think he steals bases, which is very weird.
Okay.
But he does rank in the top 13% of sprint speed. So,
He's got great arm strength.
and he's going to be very good playing right field. We know that for sure. So that's going to guarantee him the job. He doesn't have a lot of competition to get into the lineup.
But he could be a real sleeper. What do you think?
Yes, I do.
He's
I think
not going to go for a lot of money. I mean, I really had to do my homework to find out what kind of season he had last year. He could be around the $5, $6, $7 player for sure.
hits the ball
But
hard.
once again, he's one of those players that you want to do. There are players that you want to draft and you don't want them to have a great spring. His value could be $5 or $6, but if he has a great spring, it could be $10 or $11.
Well, what we do know is that he's going to get a chance to play every day because
right.
of based off solely the fact that he's got such a good arm. Moving on to another failed. Well, I won't.
Not failed.
All right.
Come on. His pro debut,
He stunk.
he learned a lot.
Detroit Tigers. Spencer
Too much he
Torkelson.
didn't stink. Too much was expected from him. He shouldn't have been, and he should have stayed in the minors the whole year.
Yes, he should. So here's the thing. I actually kind of like this pick late in drafts because he is going to benefit from the ballpark changes.
Yes.
In Detroit. He's definitely going to benefit, and he's also going to be fairly cheap, unless, of course, every other analyst is going to talk about him like we are right now. You really got to watch where he's going.
In
His
the minor
ADP is
leagues-
going to change a lot between
Minor
now.
leagues, he went through every level of the minor leagues.
Yes, he did. Very
Okay.
good. But
And
how
he-
many times
yeah.
have we seen that?
We've seen it a few times.
They
yes.
were probably putting him on for the MVP and stuff.
I agree with you.
Anyways, he didn't do well, so he went back down to AAA. I think he's going to get everyday play at first base this year.
Yeah.
Okay, he does take a walk.
And he's got Riley Green right alongside of him, so this could be and with the fences being moved in, what a great time to be a Tiger fan. It could only be good this year.
Yeah, what, to be a Tiger fan?
be a Tiger
I'd rather
fan.
be an Orioles fan.
You would.
For sure.
Go over to Eddie Heckman's house. Okay?
I'm going to.
And by the way, our condolences to Eddie Heckman for losing his dad. It's just part of life, but we love you, Eddie.
Maybe he's kicking it with Murray Melnick.
Maybe. All right. With much of the staff in Detroit being brand new, the hitting coach is new, and Riley Green and Torkelson, this could be a very exciting. If they get off to a good start, forget about it. All right. The Tigers are going to be a great team. Okay?
Detroit is doing. Yes, they're moving the fences.
Yes.
They're helping their hitters.
They're helping the hitters. They've been known for years as a pitching ballpark, Comerica Field.
This is going to
No
be an
longer.
interesting draft pick.
Yeah,
I
no
would
longer.
advise not to draft him too high, but if
Oh,
you
he's
see
going
his...
he's going for big money. By the time the
Are
draft
you
is
shitting
starting,
me?
everybody's going to know. People get affected by the walls moved in and this moved out. And guess Wild Bill, good to see you. Who are you? Guess Wild Bill. Come on, let's have your name.
And
How
Maine
about
Nick
that?
is here.
And
Maine
who?
Nick. Nick from Maine, I assume.
Oh, Nick from Maine. Guess Roberta. Wow.
Good to have you.
See you.
All right.
And George left town. All right, go.
So, yeah, Torkelson didn't do great. A lot of people wrote him off. Amazing that you say he's going to go for a decent amount. I will not be spending more than
and
$5 or
what
$6.
about Vinny Pasquantino? There are people who say that Vinny Pasquantino resembles who? Who do you think?
I'm not sure.
Lenny Melnick. All right.
Why? Is he round?
Round, firm, and fully packed. Stop it. Is he round?
Well,
What kind of compliment is that?
in what way does he remind you of Lenny
I
Melnick?
don't know. I didn't say it.
Well, did you bother to ask?
Maybe facial expressions. Maybe just he's short. All right.
I love this guy.
Go ahead.
The other day we talked about him, and we brought him up. There was a couple other players. John Garofalo brought him up. It was Nate Lowe,
Yeah.
Vinny Pasquantino, and Vaughn, right?
Okay.
Vinny is... I was saying that I didn't think he had a place to play, but I absolutely know that he has a place to play now. He has a place to play at first base for Kansas City.
Okay.
If you look at... I love to look at the RotoWire graphs. I put him in the chat room a lot. I think the other day I posted his. He's excellent. I mean, his batting average is .295, on base percentage .383. He only
What?
strikes out 11.
72 games, right? Did you say
72
that?
games.
Yeah, go ahead.
That was his rookie season, so
Yeah.
we have a decent sample size here. A strikeout rate of 11%,
Mm-hmm.
and a walk rate. He walks more than he strikes out, this guy.
Yeah,
So
okay.
while all the attention is on guys like Bobby Witt and MJ Melendez, I will tell you this. Out of all of the he's actually not a prospect. He's a rookie, if you consider him a
And
rookie.
you like how much you paying for Vinny,
Ah.
considering that he looks like me.
His contact percentage is 86.8%.
Okay.
That's excellent. I mean, this guy's got great underlying stats, and he can do everything.
Okay.
I might pay in the teens for him.
Wow.
Why not? He's going to have a job every day at first base. I would take him as my first baseman in
so
a draft.
they say he resembles me.
For what reason?
Well, because of just what you said.
Oh, all that stuff?
He could do everything.
All right. I love him.
Thank
I
you.
think I'm a big fan of Vinny.
I love you too.
Okay, not you.
How
about the Twins?
Here's an interesting one. This is not a youngster.
Joey Gallo?
But Joey Gallo has a lot to prove. I mean, he left Texas. He struggled in New York and L.A. And people are saying, and we've seen this so many times before, especially in New York, mental.
Joey
Mental.
Gallo. Okay.
Joey Gallo.
He's saying that the reason that he stunk so bad is because the New York fans were mean to him.
Is that right? Now, that's not the first time I've heard that from a player.
Okay.
Ed Whitson, I believe,
Who
was
the
the
hell?
player. This is a couple of years
Nobody
ago.
knows him at George.
He couldn't play in New York. He was
Okay, a lot
pitcher.
of... So, anyway, basically said that the fans pushed him out, and it really
Yep.
affected him. Okay, that's fine. But you can't really use it as an excuse when you haven't hit above the Mendoza line in each of the past 3
Hold
seasons.
it, interrupting this. This just in. Boston Paul says Brett Batty is the Mets Rookie of the Year, and he
No,
says
he's the Rookie of the Year.
He's the Rookie of the Year, and you've heard it first. Okay.
Gallo's excuse about the New York fans and the New York media and all this hurting his feelings, it doesn't fly. Because he hasn't hit above the Mendoza line for 3 seasons, and he's been with 3 different teams.
Right.
So, yes, he did hit 19 homers last year, but he still batted 160. And he's going to be cheap in drafts. He's going to be real cheap. He's Adam
Very
Dunn.
cheap.
This guy's Adam Dunn.
Very true.
But didn't he have a huge problem with the shift? Wasn't he one of the
He's
guys?
a big guy that's going to have a potential resurgence with the lack of shifting.
Because he can't figure out how to hit to the opposite side of the park.
Right.
But without the shift, it could help him out.
Could be a big deal.
He's now with the Twins, so there's less pressure, whatever that means. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, really, you are at the top of your game, and the Major League Baseball is the best of the best.
Yep.
If you can't get it right, the fans scare you. I don't know. Either way,
I'm going to be moving around, so if you hear some screaming, I had a procedure yesterday, and it's okay, but
try not to scream. Then.
I'm trying not to scream.
Where are you moving to? Do you need
I
help?
just have to move. Sitting on this chair is not that easy. All right, go ahead. Oh, that's good.
Does that help a little?
No, it doesn't.
I'll go the other way.
It's the seat that I'm sitting on that's giving me some trouble. Anyway, wouldn't be surprised to see a bounce back season from Joey Gallo. You're not going to have to pay for him in your draft. He's only going to go for a couple of dollars.
Just think Adam Dunn. That's who you're drafting.
Okay. Christian Javier, oh, man. Finalist for American League Rookie of the Year. He could be you could build a hell of a pitching staff using Christian Javier as like a number 3 starter.
Boston Paul says Joey Gallo's on his no draft list.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I mean, shoot, if you're good at your draft and you make sure that you keep batting average at the top of your priorities, these are the type of guys that you could draft later for power. You don't really care what his batting average is because you've managed to draft good players throughout the draft with decent batting averages, and then you have a little wiggle room. That's why I try really hard to pay attention to batting average early in drafts because I used to not pay attention at all. I used to be like, okay, if the guy's stealing bases and hitting so many home runs, then he's got to have a decent batting average. That's not how it works. And batting average is an important category as any other category. So if you draft players at the beginning of your draft and you make sure that you have a solid batting average going into the later rounds, you have a lot more wiggle room to get guys like Joey Gallo who can absolutely make up the difference between coming in, second or third in home runs.
Mm-hmm. All right, absolutely.
Christian Javier, I thought he hit more ground balls. I mean, I thought he induced more ground balls than he does, so I was a little disappointed when I looked at his formula. His strikeout rate is 33%, and his ground ball rate is only 26%. Right. So I wish he would induce more ground balls. But as far as being a good pitcher for the Astros, he's their ace now.
Well, if you think of him as a relief pitcher, as he was, last year he started 25 games for the Astros. So
he's a good starter.
He's a terrific
But is
starter.
he an ace?
I don't think he's proven. And George is back. He's an ace.
He's been here, Leonard.
No, but he left for a little. I watched George. Anyway, no, he's back. So yeah, I think he's a terrific number 3 starter, $12 pitcher, maybe more. But that's what you got to pay for him. He hasn't reached that level, but he could, because in addition to being a number 3 starter on your fantasy team, he could be a candidate for the Cy Young Award.
Oh, BS.
That's what they're talking about in Houston. What about...
Well, listen, he's going to go up against all the other aces, and he's not, compared to those other aces, he's not an ace. He's a number 3 starter at best. The Houston Astros lost a ton of ground with their giving up Verlander and stuff.
I don't think they're going to feel it. They have tremendous replacements for Verlander.
They have such good replacement that Christian Javier is their number 1 pitcher.
Well, yeah, but still, they got some good pitchers.
You're going to go look at what it is?
No, I'm not looking at anything. I'm just telling you, they got some good pitchers on this Houston team. I'm not saying Javier's number 3. Framber Valdez, I think he's number...
All right, you're right.
Framber Valdez is the lefty.
That's
Lance
true.
McCullers, who the hell knows? And then
like
they got
Framber.
Hunter Brown, who could be...
And Luis Garcia.
I
don't know why Javier is above Luis Garcia.
Well, I do. I think he's better.
Zach Gallen. I love it, George. That's a good guess.
Okay.
Zach Gallen, NL Cy Young. I like it. I wish he was on a better team.
Okay.
All right, moving on. We're going to talk about the Los Angeles Angels' Logan O'Hoppe.
Logan O'Hoppe, good-looking catcher. He was with the Phillies.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things that they're trying to do here. They're trying to build a team. They are trying to build a team.
He only played 5 games in the majors last year, and he played at 3 levels. He played 75 games at Double-A, and then he got traded. He played 29 games at Double-A, and then he went straight from Double-A to the majors. He only played 5 games for the Angels. He didn't hit any home runs, and he didn't steal any bases, so you're probably wondering why in the world are we talking about this guy.
But if this is a guy for a second catcher, He was traded to the Angels, and as you said, he can hit some home runs. He should see a lot more time in 2023, and his season is going to unfold very nicely. And don't forget, they're building a nice team out there in.
I don't have the depth chart in front of me, but I want to say that is Max Stassi still. Is Max Stassi the catcher?
Logan Hop, Max Stassi, also Matt Thies.
One great thing about this guy that we know for sure is that he has good batting utensils. Like, from what I'm seeing, he walks 12.5% of the time and he strikes out 18% of the time. For a catcher, that's really good. That's what led to 286 batting average. But like I said, it's only 5 games. If you look at his minor league numbers, he was batting 306 with a 473 on base percentage, 275. He does hit home runs. He hit a total of 26 home runs last year at Double-A. And he does have power.
Look.
So between his good on base qualities, he does have power, and he'll probably share time with Max Stassi. Will he start out at Double-A? Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, you want to move on, Leonard?
Let's move on. We got 3 more teams to do. We got Oakland. When they traded Murphy, you got to say, well, what are they doing? How could they trade Murphy? Because they got a very good young catcher, and it's time to build these young players. He was arguably the best piece they received in return from the Matt Olson trade. Christian Pache was there, too. A lot of people thought Pache would be better, but he struggled. Langoliers will get plenty of playing time.
Yep.
He's a terrific number 2 catcher. Keep an eye on him in the spring.
He hit 6 home runs last year with a 218 batting average, and that's typical, right? 34.6% strikeout rate. So he does need to improve his strikeout rate, but how much does he need to improve it?
No, he's a
because
youngster.
Catchers normally strike out a lot anyway. But he's going to get a chance to play every day, and he was part of this huge trade.
And that's why you got to look
25,
at him.
he's
when
ready.
You trade Murphy, the best catcher in baseball,
and Matt Olson.
You got to wonder, what the hell are you getting back for him? And Langoliers was one of the players.
And Pache was the other part of that trade that really hasn't panned out. So
he's got a way to go.
Anyway,
up next,
he's got
Laura. How you doing there, Laura? Good to see Laura. How about Seattle? Who do you got on
George
Seattle?
Kirby.
George the Animal Kirby, all right? Look, they got a lot of stuff going on. Julio Rodriguez.
How much people are going to spend on George Kirby, though, okay?
Not a lot.
They are.
They're not spending a lot. He's a dark horse. They say for the Cy Young Award, but I don't even know.
Can he get to the majors first?
You know what?
Please.
A lot of this stuff, by the way, some of this stuff, when you say dark horse, I don't know
what
where
the hell does that mean?
That means he's an outside chance of, he's being considered.
How is he being considered when he's never pitched?
Because a lot of this stuff comes from the agents. A lot of agents will throw out things like George Kirby is a dark horse for the Cy Young Award.
And that's where the writers
and
get it?
Picked up
from an
by
inside
a writer.
source?
Yes.
Please.
Remember that.
This is junk.
The agents give out a lot of stuff.
I like the Mariners' future. I think they have some good young talent in their rotation for sure. This guy did come up last year.
Yep.
Rookie season.
130 innings, right? Mm-hmm. And what did he
3.39.
3.39 ERA.
So maybe. I didn't realize he pitched so many innings.
I didn't realize it either. That's why he's not going to go for a lot of money. He's not going.
Well, he pitched 130 innings. That's more than friggin' Tyler Glasnow's ever pitched.
I don't think he's going for a lot.
I think he is, especially with what he did. He's young. He's exciting. Mm-hmm. Seattle's a great ballpark for pitchers. He had a 3.39 ERA in 130 innings. That's excellent. I have to admit, I did not realize that George Kirby had so many innings in the majors. He's not a rookie.
Well, it could be a very interesting late-round pick, especially in American League only. But he could be a mixed league pitcher as well. And let's end it up. Let's go to Texas and talk about Josh Jung. Okay,
Is it Young or?
I don't know.
Jung.
Jung.
I like this guy.
Yeah, and the Rangers are making a lot of off-season deals. They're making a push.
Do I like him? I changed
to be
my
a
mind.
good team in 2023.
I don't like this guy.
It's the same thing you did with me. All right? Yeah, I'll live with you. Let's live together. Let's get married. Let's love each other. And then what happened? I changed my mind. Go ahead.
I never said that to you,
never
Leonard.
did. So they brought in Jake DeGrom,
Yes.
and Jung has hit very well at every level he's played
Except
in,
for the majors.
except in the majors.
Now,
Okay,
he's always struck out. As soon as he got to AAA, he started striking out 28% of the time.
Right.
Last year, he played 26 games in the major, and he struck out 38% of the time.
Wow.
So he definitely has a problem there. He only makes contact 60% of the time. He plays third base, so that could be okay. But if you look at his graph at RotoWire, which I love to do because it's all color coordinated, you could see right away where this guy struggles. 204 batting average, on base percentage will kill you. 235 on base percentage, never walks, 3.9% walk rate. Like I said, 38.2% strikeout rate. That's horrible. He runs fast. Is he stealing bases? He stole 2 bases last year and hit 5 home runs in 26 games. That's pretty. I mean, think of that. In 26 games, he hit 5 home runs and stole 2 bases. Multiply that by however many games, and you're looking at some good numbers. But that's not a good way to go about this at all. I just think he needs to quit striking out so much. What are you doing? Reading Facebook,
no,
Leonard?
I'm just going back. Look, we want to thank everybody for being here in the chat room. Eddie Heckman wants us to go for an hour. Unfortunately, we have other commitments that we got to make today.
Like what?
So,
Like what, Leonard?
we have
To watch the Golden Girls?
We have to take a nap. All right. Thank you so much to Boston Paul, Chris Gallo, Daniel Ferrara, Eddie, the Chief Heckman. You got George came back. Laura has been here. Rotorius. Thank you guys. Tommy Johnston. Guess Wild Bill. Guess Maine Nick. Wow.
And Roberta.
Next time, put your names in. And I guess Madonna was here. We had a lot of people here. And we thank you so much. We'll keep this going on Sundays. It's free. It's exactly the same show you saw on.
No. No saying that word.
Well, it's a better show.
Don't say the word.
No commercials.
That's true.
That's it. So this 45 minutes that we just did was equal to an hour and a half. So thanks, everybody, and we'll see you again tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Thanks.